I am now streaming live after I shut off my telephone. Hi, Elaine Marolakos Edelson here with Astrology Mojo, transformational astrology. I want to help you get your mojo back. It is a very active day. Do you feel it? Do you feel motivated? Do you feel excited? Are you spinning, perhaps? You could be in the polarity. Well, today we're going to be talking about how to activate that abundance factor, that angel atom, that 4-4 vibe. Today's April 4th, 2019. And if you're just joining me, please let me know that you're here and let me know your birthday, month and day, actually. I don't need the year. And we're going to look at how to flip things on their head. It's also Thors Day. Let's hammer out the details, shall we? Let me just remind you, for those of you who are just new to me and joining me, I keep hearing a sound. It's okay. Anyway, maybe it's in my head. That the planets in astrology don't do anything to you. We live in a cooperation with the cosmos so that when the planets make a move, you feel it. When you make a move, it's reflected in the heavens by the aspects and angles of the planets. How does that happen? Isn't life magical? You can look at anything in your world through your specific lens and see your reality. But when you step outside that reality and you look through a different lens, the world can open up a bit. Or it can produce even more validation for what you truly believe and how it helps you and how it serves you. So we're going to be looking at the angel atom today, and that is the 8 vibe. And 4-4 is, April is a 4th month, speaking in terms of numerology. Now, April is a 4 number because it's the 4th month of our year. And today is the 4th day of that month. Now, when you add those two numbers together, you get an 8. And an 8 breaks down to a 44. 44 breaks down to a 22. A 22 breaks down to an 11. So all these master power numbers accumulate into this vibration that it can play out in so many different ways in your world. It can be just a very busy, busy day where you thought you were going to be doing this thing and then suddenly you're doing 14 other things. But when you turn around and look at the day, everything worked out smoothly. It's almost as if you could move through time to get through traffic to get to your appointment and then work on 4 different errands at the same time. That was my morning. That was actually my morning. So with this vibration that no one is immune to, because hello, we exist. And so therefore we feel. And all these vibrations that we encounter, some affect us more than others. Let's just put it that way. So when I talk about transformational astrology, it's not just astrology. It's about metaphysical concepts in practical reality. Now, what does that mean? Well, it's like taking a very high concept of thought or prayer or meditation or manifestation or magnetizing tools and exercises and then applying them, making them practical so that you can see a result. And so that's what we're looking at in this 4-4 vibe. Now, if you are watching this replay and it's already 2 days after, 3 weeks after, the 4-4 will show up again throughout the month. It also depends on what your birthday is. So in numerology, what you would like to do is get a pen and paper and put your birth month down as in a number. So if it's in May, it's 5. If it's January, it's 1. Okay. And then put a plus sign. And hi, Yvonne is showing me exactly 622. Then you would put the number of your birthday. So in Yvonne's case, it's 622. And the addition in numerology is actually called Fadic addition, F-A-D-I-C. So then you just begin to add all the numbers together until you come out with one number. So in Yvonne's case, 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10. And a 10 is a 1 and a 0. So 1 plus 0 equals 1. So Yvonne would take the number 1 and add it to the number 3 for the year 2019. The vibration for the year 2019 is a number 3 because 2 plus 0 is 2, plus 1 is 3, and anything you add to 9 is going to equal that number. So try it, it works. So 3 plus 9 is 14, no, is 12. Sorry. 3 plus 9 is 12, and 1 plus 2 is 3. So for Yvonne, she's in a 3 year. And even though today's a 4 vibe, a different month, then you add the number of the month. And so Yvonne in a 3 vibe year, which is about communication and learning and dialing down the obsession or the gossip of, chatter, but then moving into brain entrainment, education. How can I change a thought and make my life better? But then when you look at your month vibration, you take your birth month, day, the birth month and the day. Like, say your birthday is September 5th. So that would be 9 plus 5 equals 14. 1 plus 4 equals 5. So anything you add to 9, emphatic addition, is going to equal that same number. So if your birthday is September 5th, as an example, you have a 5, and then you add it to the number 3, which is 2019. So overall, your overall arching theme is an 8. Okay, once you determine your overall arching year number, then you add the month that we're in. So Yvonne, or Bridget, is here as well, 618. So 6 plus 1 equals a 7. 7 plus 8 equals 15. 1 plus 5 equals a 6. So Bridget is in a 6 year. Now add the 3 to that and you get a 9. So Bridget's in a 9 year. Now you look at the month that we're in, 4. So for Bridget's in a 4 month in a 9 year, which means this vibration is really kind of like pushing to the core of empty out those closets. Why are you thinking the same negative thought over and over again? It's time to get down to business and get to work. What do you really want to be doing? So as you look at the vibration, you can keep breaking it down to the minute, the month, the week, the day. It's like, but once you have an overall arching theme of your year, and you look at today is a 4-4 vibe, and that 4-4 number is like, if anyone has ever cleaned jewelry in a little electronic machine, and you plug it in and you put the jewelry in with the liquid and it vibrates and there's like little bubbles. This is what a 4-4 vibration, which is an 8, which breaks down to a 44, 22, and 11. That's what it's like. So it starts with your feelings of empathy, how you relate to other people, how you allow yourself to relate to you. Then it moves to how you problem solve. How do you delegate so that you're not doing all the work? How do you ask for help? How do you offer your services and your help? And then it moves into, I want to make a contribution. What's that contribution? So you see, the number, each number creates a vibration. So in what's called the angel atom, everyone has that. And that is, we're all stardust. We all come from the cosmos. Basically, I'm not from around here. I hang out here, and I live on this earth as if, be in the earth, not of it. Because when you're here and you can see that you can make a contribution outside of your limitations, because sometimes we don't know that we don't know, or we don't know that we can move beyond a situation. And so we narrow focus down to, I couldn't pay my bill and they didn't call me back and I didn't get the thing in time and I was supposed to fill out the form and I'm a victim and I'm a victim and I'm a victim. That is not a 4-4 vibration. All right, folks, the angel atom, there are no victims in the spiritual world. So, and you are not a victim either. So move your thoughts, the polarity of your thoughts, move them out of, I didn't get what I need, to how can I? How can I get what I need? Well, maybe it's about trusting, number one. When we look at polarity, polarity is the opposite. Deep down, you have a talent, but there's a bunch of fears in the way that won't let you express. It's not about them. Well, they didn't call me back, or I didn't get the job, or it didn't work out. Okay, sometimes you're guided toward excellence by unseen forces, expected and unexpected, right? So you need to start trusting that a little bit more, because you're not just a body separate from the next body, separate from the experience. It's all one thing, where it's like one big pot. Who's stirring the pot? You're going to feel the swirl over in, England, if you're living in Florida. Everything that's happening in this world, you feel. You may not recognize it. So what the thing to do is to get really calm every day, to have a specific routine that helps your body, your mind, and your spirit. Take good care of yourself. Think more positive thoughts. If negative things come into your sphere in your mind, or they exist in your life, you need to set a boundary to those things. Say no to those things, right? Astrology just tells you what time it is. That's all. It doesn't make you do anything. So sometimes I'll look at a combination of things in a person's chart, or in a person's world, or in their energy. So when I'm doing the clairvoyant part of the program, and I get some information, and I'll say a word or a sentence, or I'll have an image or a visual, it ties into the one thing that a person needs to experience and let go of right now. And on the whole, for a whole lot of people, in a 4-4 vibe, you'll get it every month. So January 1st is a 1-1. February 2nd is a 2-2. February 22nd, so keep going. 5-5, 6-6, 7-7, 8-8, 9-9. That kind of vibe doubles up the intensity of whatever you're experiencing. And not everyone is experiencing the same thing, right? So let's talk about polarities. Again, polarities are opposites. Now, if you find yourself, and you got to catch yourself, it's so incremental. It's along the day. You may say, I have crystals, and like, here's some buddies I hang out with when I'm working. This is Numite, and also called the Sorcerer's Stone. Here's Fluorite for when I work with a computer. So there's Fluorite, so I hang out with my stones. And sometimes I'll be guided to touch one of them, hold one of them, move it away from my desk or out of my bedroom. For whatever reason, I trust it. And so that brings my attention to something. The doorbell rings, it brings your attention to something. You have a thought or a hunger pain, it brings your attention to something. So today I want you to look at your polarities. What are your opposites? So the very next moment you are feeling fear. How about, hey, Leah's here. Hi, Leah. How about turn it into courage? What could you do to do the opposite? I'm only talking about negatives. You don't want to turn a positive into a negative. You only want to turn the negatives, anything less than neutral, into the negative column. You want to turn on its head. Today's Thors Day. Let's hammer it out, right? Wham! Okay. Let's say you're stalled and you're procrastinating. So you turn inaction to action. Or maybe you're spinning your wheels, you're zooming around. It's just, you have a headache, you haven't eaten, you haven't gone to the bed. It's like too much. How about let's turn action into inaction or rest? So whatever negative is accumulating in your life, doubt, let's turn it on its head and turn it into courage. This morning, maybe a few minutes before I started this whole talk, I thought back to an experience I had, I don't know, 7-8 years ago, something like that. And I was driving home at night, and I wasn't feeling lonely. I don't feel lonely. And sometimes I feel very alone, and I'm happy about it. But on this particular night, I was feeling very separate, right? The distinction between alone, lonely, and separate. I just wasn't feeling connected, and it made me feel a little lost. Now, not literally, because I knew where I was going on my way home, and the sun had just set, and there were beautiful clouds out in the vista, and I just did this overwhelming sense of separation, that I just wasn't connected. Now, I am a big Star Trek fan, and I know there are two camps, Star Trek or Star Wars. I am Camp Trek. I'm a Trekkie, and a big time one since the beginning, since I was 9 or 8 or whenever the show first came on. And so when I'm driving and I was feeling this thing, I didn't want to feel this thing anymore, because I knew it was taking me away from what was real, what was happy, what was connected, what was true for me. My spirit had felt very separate, or my mind had separated myself from my spiritual self. So as I'm driving, I look up into the clouds and my mouth drops open and I just burst out laughing. I had to pull over and take a picture. Now, if you are familiar with Star Trek, cool. If you're not, that's okay too. Let me show you what I saw. This is what I saw. I saw a cloud that looked like the Enterprise. And I just started laughing. And if you're not familiar with what the Enterprise looks like, there it is. And isn't that so cool? So when I saw my Star Trek cloud, I immediately connected to everything I knew to be true. And I started laughing, and I put music on, and I thought I had a momentary lapse of reason. And that's where it comes from. It's in the thought process, right? I had a momentary lapse of reason, and it separated me. But yet that I had that experience reminded me, because I see it. I know it to be true. People talk about, I think I saw something in the, you come to Sedona. We have UFO experiences here. They're here all the time, and I have seen them. And I've had experiences with energies and people not of this earth. And so it doesn't surprise me or shock me. But to a lot of people, the reality isn't put on that. And we're not talking about aliens versus humans. It's all, there's so many different types of beings on this earth and in this universe and in all the universes. And so the only thing you really want to connect to is that which supports. So if you are feeling separate or unsupported, switch it around. Do the opposite. Do the opposite of whatever makes you feel that negative thing. Does that make sense? Okay. Because it's very powerful how you can manifest support. Now, sometimes, most times, energy from angels, which, again, I will say this till I no longer exist on this earth. Angels, to me, are not religious. They are a race of being. There are also energy masters in the world. I used to follow, and still do, but it's so much a practice that I don't think about it anymore. Saint Germain, the Seventh Ray. There's El Serapis. There's Kuan Yin. There are so many energy masters who have been through this earth many times and have had many different names. It doesn't matter so much. I mean, if you're interested, you research it, but it doesn't matter so much. But when we come to a day like today, April 4th, when the vibration is very high, you have the ability to have an experience like that, where I can think back to being 7 years old or 6 years old, and I was running through a park. My family brought me to see some cousins, and they were a little older, maybe about 5 years older, and we were playing with a big ball. And they kicked the ball, and it went rolling over these grassy hills, and I went running after it. Now, in the back of my head, I heard them screaming at me. But I was in such a state. I was going to get that ball, and I was going to go back, and I was going to kick it. We were going to keep playing. And suddenly, I felt like two hands stopped me on my shoulder, and I just stopped. I mean, I was running at full speed, and I stopped. And when I looked down, I was at a curb, and a car went by and hit the ball. Okay, so my family came running over. Didn't you hear us screaming? What's the matter with you? La, la, la. And I was like, yeah, I'm cool. I'm all right. I'm okay. But, at that age, it was all real to me. All real. I always saw them. And, now in my life at the age of almost 59, I look around and I say, I am still connected, so much so that I feel this vibe. I want to put this vibe into the world to help you grasp the understanding that you have the same potential. If you glimpse it, if you have a dream, if you feel a hand on your shoulder, you smell a perfume in the room. All right, I don't want to turn into the Long Island psychic. How many Sals? How many Sals in the room? Raise your hands. Who had meatballs? You had meatballs today, right? That was an SNL takeoff comedy bit of the Long Island psychic, who is authentic. I mean, it's authentic. So it's all real, right? You're intuitive, right? Right? Okay. Let me look at the comment section. We have some comments. So we have Annette says 725. So how does the 4-4 affect someone born 725? So you got to add the numbers together. 7 plus 2 is a 9. Just erase it. You got a 5. 5 plus 3. 3 equals the 2019, which you're in. You're in an 8-year. Now, because we're a 4-4 today and you're in an 8-year, you're really feeling it. So Annette, anything that you want to put into this world, this is your power time. Okay, makes sense? And then there's Michelle, 1111. You're part of this 4-4, continuum. And it's not like you have to wait for the day. Like, oh, okay, just 6 more days and I have power. No, you're already powerful. Does that make sense? It's just that your awareness might open up even more. The answer might come during that time because there are portals of energy. I know it sounds science fiction, but it's not really fiction. Sometimes it's science, sometimes it's metaphysical science. And that is when you think a thought repeatedly, you will create a vibration, and that vibration is what becomes your aura. And that aura is what attracts to you whatever is going on, okay? So they're not doing it to you, you're attracting it. Does that make sense? So there are no victims. There just aren't. There's awareness. And it can feel bad. If you're 3 years old and somebody pushes you and takes your ice cream, that's yikes. I would cry too. So my computer's telling me it's going to restart in a second. Oh, no. I do not wish to shut down. Okay, so there's a lot of high vibe going on. Okay. Does this make sense? Yes. Calling all angels from every walk of life, from every background. Now, I have seen artwork depicted of the 7 masters, Saint Germain, Sananda, who also has another name, Jesus, Rowena, Nada, Kuan Yin. There's so many, Metatron. There's so many names, and I don't ascribe a gender to these names. Excuse me, my computer is telling me that it wants to quit something. No, I don't want to quit my computer. And, but it is important that you identify with the energy of what's coming in for you. So today's a really great day, being 4/4, April 4th, to sit down, figure out what's been stopping you, what's been blocking you, what the one negative thing is that's circulating through your brain and your body and your world, and choose to do the opposite and ask for help. Ask your guides, your spirits, your angels, your loved ones who have passed on. Ask whoever. Ask, cartoon characters. Whatever it is you believe in. Today's the day to open the channel on 4/4. Now, you can do it every day. Again, remember, but it's just a little bit more potent. It's like you have a better connection today. Does that make sense? Give me a thumbs up. Let me know that this makes sense. And what is it that you'd like to flip on its side? Today's Thursday, Thors Hammer Day. Let's hammer it out. Look, what do you want to let go of? And if there's doubt, you got to name it first, right? If there's doubt, if there's fear, it all comes under the umbrella of fear. but be more specific to your experience. Is it sorrow? Now, if you're grieving the loss of a pet, a loved one, you can't easily just turn it around and go, yeah, I'm so freaking happy today, It's like, I was talking to someone this morning about TV shows, and I just have to say, okay, Fear of the Walking Dead, I just have to say, I'm not going to give anything away, but Madison and Alicia, close the door, okay? Just like, we could avert so much trauma and trouble if we just closed the door. Anyway, so, making sense? I'll help you make change. 50 cents? 4 bits for $1. I will help you make change. I will be back on Tuesday, by the way. We're going to be talking more about the Jupiter going retrograde and some other fun things. And in the meantime, to work with me one-on-one, and it's a power session. It really is a power session. And if you're just joining me, I'm going to show you again the power that comes from the universe and the heavens, and all of the energies to which you are connected, and how they can help you. Really quickly, I'm just going to briefly say this one period of my life, about 7-8 years ago, I was feeling a little down and sad and very separate, actually. And so the universe, already knowing that I love star things, especially Star Trek, this cloud appeared in front of me. And I'm just going to show it again because I love this picture. And if you're not familiar with Star Trek, I don't know where you were raised, but that's okay. Isn't that so cool? That is so darn cool. I just, it makes me smile, and it made me laugh. And so when you're moving through your day, and you can look at symbols, you can look at situations, you can go over things. Who likes to obsess about, this conversation and what happened? I found myself this morning talking to someone in my head where we had already had an argument about 4 or 5 years ago, and it was resolved. But the argument came back into my head, and I thought, why is this here? And I saw myself having this, and then she said, and I was like, whoa, where'd that come from? So I thought, well, maybe it's just leaving. Bye-bye. I thought I worked it out completely, but now it was like the echo, the remnants. It's just bye-bye, gotta go. Alicia in Fear of the Walking Dead, she used to be, started with an L. I forget her name, but she was like, Nightblood on the 100. Oh, and by the way, we're after 200 years of explosion, like nuclear explosion. Where does Clark find mascara? I don't know. These questions and more. This is what we want to know. How's everybody doing? Ronell gives me a thumbs up. Cool. Yes, says Bridget. Jessie is here. Hi, Jessie. 15. Oh, Leah is an 11. That's what you're giving me. November is an 11. 15. So you would add all the numbers together. That's a 5 plus 1. That's a 6 plus 1 is a 7 plus 1 is an 8. You also are highly affected by the 4-4 vibration. And look for gifts, people. Look for gifts in your mind, in your dreams, from others. Just a little, sometimes a smile from a stranger is a gift, right? Sometimes sharing that with someone else. You see they're having a rough time and you just, tell them a joke. What a gift. To be able to make this connection in a 4-4 day. Not only, it's not just for today. Remember, it's the channels open up even more. It's, instead of the old dial phone, now it's like super beep. It's in you just tap it and you're like, yeah, I'd like to put in a call too. So it's more immediate. So offer gifts to people. Offer your kindness to people, your compassion. I want to pull a happy card for everybody. Offer this gift and then watch it come back to you. This 4-4 vibration equals an 8, and it is sometimes called the angel atom. Ronell, did you give me your date? I did. 5 plus 10 as a 6, right? You're in a 9 year. So in a 9 year, these are endings. So the day that creates a higher vibration, you can look at what, and it's not looking at so much what's in your house, but that helps. But what's in your life, well, what's in your mind that needs to end? What kind of thought process do you have that takes you down a black hole of I'm a victim at the end of it? Or I don't get what I want, or any of the negatives. Remember what I was saying? This is a day to look at your polarity. What's your polarity? What are your opposites? What's your contradiction? Your polarity will show you what's not working. And the door is the 4-4. Today's a 4-4 door. All right, so I'm going to mix these happy cards up to see if you can get to where you want to go faster. And also click on the blue Book Now button. And it comes with a 30-day follow-up, the 60-minute session. And it is a power session. We're going to be looking at the upcoming eclipses. We're looking at Mars. We're looking at Jupiter. Basically, we're looking at how to redirect and calibrate you toward the most powerful you possible so that you can revisit the parts of you that get things done, that feel supported. And then you're going to expand on those things because why else not? Why are you here? What are you doing? If you're just biding your time and waiting for the clock to tick out until, you're 89 years old and say, okay, I'm done. That was my life. Then I think there's more. I think there's a greater potential for you, right? Instead of just hanging out, playing games on your phone or watching movies. I mean, we watch movies, but also, do they inspire you to do what? Look at themes and symbols in your life and say, oh, I love that show. With this woman I was talking to this morning, she loves vampire stuff. And I said to her, I can't do too much blood because it makes me nauseous. And she said, I like tongue-in-cheek, funny things to make me laugh because she works with helping people to heal physically. And it can be a downer, especially people with cancer that she works with. And she comes home at the end of the day and she's like, oh, yeah, I just need to watch something that'll make me, distract me and make me feel like, oh, this is hysterical. This is funny. I said, so you're someone who is constantly in caregiving mode. And she went, yeah, I guess so. I said, so maybe these shows represent how you care for yourself. She went, yeah, they do. And I said, well, what else can you do to care for yourself? Watching a show is not a good or a bad thing, but what else can you do? And she said, I love to travel. I said, where are you going next? She said, Chicago. And I'm so excited. I said, that's great. You must be a Sag rising. You're welcome, Ronell. So, all right, just to wrap it up, I will be back on Tuesday. And we're going to be talking more about how to help you transform once I pull a happy card for everyone. And this is the 4-4. We're going to ask angels, masters, loved ones passed on. What is one of the biggest messages we can derive from this day, this moment in time? And even if you're watching the replay, this will still apply. Okay. So this is the card that came through. And that is your intention, which is, right? What are we talking about? Your intention is where it all begins. So if you have the intention to flip things over from the negative to the positive, then focus on that. And take every single moment of awareness where you're about to judge somebody negatively and stop and say, you know what? Why not smile? Why not put love into the world or kindness instead? Even if you don't agree with someone's political stance or your neighbor mowing their lawn at 10 p.m., whatever is going on, flip the negative on its side and watch what happens when you do. Your vibration changes. And when your vibration changes, along with your thoughts and your feelings, it anchors a whole new neuron system in your brain that says, life is bigger, life is more, and you just expanded your awareness. It's so simple, and it doesn't take a lot of time, and it doesn't cost any money to do that in that moment. And then what happens is now, with your intention, you can bring to you a bridge that helps you get what you want. All right? There are physical laws and there are metaphysical laws. Wishing does not make it so. I wish that it did, but it doesn't. So if you can grasp the concept that you have help in this world, people will help, strangers will help. Ask for it. Ask for the help. Show me. Show me a calm, clear, healthy sign with those parameters. Calm, clear, healthy sign about this issue. And then just, watch what comes. All right, folks, I will see you again on Tuesday. Be well, be happy, and do something wonderful today to set that angel atom vibe into motion so that it vibrates within you. And then as you open your heart, wonderful things will come. Gifts are on the way. Be sparkly. See you soon. Here, we're going to end with this. Do